Hello, welcome back to apparently On the Fly was taken for a podcast name, so we're not gonna use that. As cool as that would have been for an improvised podcast. So we're just gonna stick with chill, improvised English speaking podcast. I hope that's okay for now. But if you happen to think of any cooler names for the podcast, please let me know. Otherwise, welcome. So today, it's Friday. Happy Friday for those of you who live in like Melbourne, Australia. It's Friday for you. Singapore, it's Friday. Maybe America, it's not Friday yet. Maybe America, it's Thursday still. I'm not sure. But yeah, happy Friday. So apparently Friday's a big deal for a lot of people, and it is to me as well because I am one of those people. I still work a normal full-time job, 9 to 5, and I'm sure it's a big day for anyone that has a Monday to Friday thing, whether it's school, whether it's work. Weekends are just time for us to relax and have some of our freedom back because I feel like a lot of us are not privileged enough to do what they love every single day. I'm sure there are some of you who do that, and I'm very jealous of those people. I look forward to hopefully being one of those people in the future. But yeah, so from what I've seen from a lot of my colleagues, a bunch of my friends, when you're working a Monday to Friday job, it tends to not be the thing that you like absolutely would do in your free time. It tends to be the thing like my dad told me a long time ago, when he raised me and my siblings. I remember him saying, when you get a job, right, you look for something that you can tolerate. The word he used was tolerate. Like, find something that you can tolerate that you will be like you wouldn't hate, that you won't absolutely hate doing, that you could do for potentially the rest of your life. Find a job like that that's stable, that's got a good income, that can support the thing that you actually love doing on the side. And for a long time, you know, I didn't really question it. I was like, okay, I guess this is kind of how the world works. People just get jobs and then they just do their the things they love on the side as like hobbies. But nowadays, I'm starting to question that more and more because you see so many people out there living, well, it seems like they're living such wonderful lives. So they're starting to now go, okay, AI is coming in, it's taking over a lot of stuff. Maybe I should just do what I love, find a way to, do what I love to make money so that I can be happy most of the time. And I think that's a great idea. It's not an easy idea, but I think it's a great idea. So I'm still working on it. I'm gonna try and head in that direction as well. But yeah, for anyone else who's also got a Monday to Friday, happy Friday. It is something to still appreciate. I think not all places in the world have weekends like to enjoy. For example, I hear like from some people I know who were from China that Chinese people, they not only not have like the full weekend, sometimes they have to work like Saturday and stuff, maybe Sunday, but they also have to work overtime on weekdays. So they don't even have like the evenings and the weekday to rest. And the culture is sort of like the company says to them, if you don't work overtime, it just means that you're not grateful that you're with the company. I hope that things are improving if that is the case for anyone who's watching this. And I hope that the culture sort of shifts and people start to realize that we're not machines and we have lives and those lives matter. But yeah, so if you do have weekends and if you do have evenings, for your weekdays, then absolutely. do your best to appreciate them and enjoy them. So yeah, I had a Friday. I worked from home today, and for those who saw the previous video, you may have heard that I love working from home because I'm an indoor person, number one, and I also am a natural introvert, I think is the way to describe it. I think nowadays I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm an ambivert. You've heard the term ambivert is sort of an in-between between an introvert and an extrovert. I'm definitely not an extrovert because I need to be alone to recharge, but I also don't like run out of batteries super fast when I'm around people, and I do enjoy on the rare occasion just talking. That said, I prefer asking people questions so that they can talk, so that I can listen to them. But because I'm doing this podcast on my own, this is a moment for me to be talking. But that said, speaking of talking, if any of you have any topics that you feel would be really cool to improvise around, or if there's anything that you're looking to improve on, whether it's English, whether it's something to do with work, interviews, or struggles in life, I'm not qualified necessarily to answer any of those questions, but I will definitely try and give you my perspective. If and hopefully that will help. Even if it's just to think about it a little bit more. I have been doing a bit of reflecting as well about relationships, about self improvement. And I'm sure, if you've watched enough videos, you might have heard that relationship is not just, boy meets girl and they get together and it's happily ever after. Usually it takes a certain amount of work, constant and consistent work to maintain a good relationship. And I think that's true, you know? But even though I know that's true, even though I've heard these things, sometimes it's hard. Or sometimes I forget. Like there might be a situation like just before there was a situation that happened, and uh, things didn't go like all rainbows and sunshine, and now that I'm thinking about that moment, I'm thinking, man, I probably could have handled that better, or I could have done this thing differently, and like, did I have to? Yeah, like, is there anything else that I could have done that would have resolved the situation in a nicer way? So in fact, after that I make this video, I'm gonna go and apologize to my partner for not handling it like super super well. But yeah, so I think there certainly needs to be a level of reflection and self improvement on hopefully like a frequent basis, whether you're in a relationship or not. I think it's important, not just for other people, but also for you. So there needs to be a balance. These days, recently there's a lot of talk about making it all about you or us, right? So this it's all about you got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure that you're happy. You got to make sure that you do what you need to do. And that's true to an extent. We also need to balance it out though, because if everything's about us, then I personally don't want to fall into that trap where I suddenly become a selfish person that only cares about me, right? I don't think the world would be a better place if I was super selfish. So, and I don't think I would be happy if I was super selfish, right? Because when things go wrong, I'll be like, man, I deserved better, or that why did that happen to me, you know? And I'll start expecting a lot of things. I'll start thinking like the world owes me stuff and I have the right to be unconditionally happy. And whilst that would be amazing, I, that's not the case. And that's not the case for everyone. And we all usually, maybe I don't want to generalize, but most of us have people that we care about and we love. And it's important. that we take care of them as well. And we can only take care of them if we are working on us. Because if we're not working on us, then we're just sort of stuck in whatever mentality we happened to grow up with when we were younger. I heard somewhere, I think it was my colleague, that they went overseas to celebrate like a birthday. They were a group of friends, they grew up together, and apparently every decade when they age, one of them ages, they go back to like Bali or something to celebrate a birthday. And and so this person celebrated their, I think it was their 40th or their 50th birthday. And one of the friends, I think it was their kid potentially, like asked them, like, how does it feel to be 50 or to be 40? And and what they told me was, they said, okay, I feel just like you. Like my mind is still the mind of an 18-year-old when I was 18. It hasn't really changed in the way that we see ourselves. It's just that our body is older now, right? And that really stuck with me because I now that I'm in my 30s, early 30s, thankfully, now that I'm in my 30s, I relate to that because sometimes I wake up or I look in the mirror, I'm doing things, and I forget that I'm 30. I still think that I'm in my 20s or I'm, like early, like late teens, early 20s, late teens. Sometimes I still think that way. I mean, sure, I've experienced a lot more things, and I hope that I'm maturing. But yeah, I think if we don't consistently put effort into growing and improving ourselves, that's why you see a lot of people in there that just because they're older doesn't mean that they're more mature, right? So yeah, I think it's important that we take effort to work on ourselves. My partner's just peeking through the door right now. It might be a cue for me to wrap things up. Speaking of my partner, she's been great, and one of the things that I want to do more is find a way to either to capture moments and memories of my life, whether it's journaling, whether it's taking videos, voice memos, because sometimes if you don't do that, you're just relying on your memory and it's not always reliable and you forget things. So she has a channel called Hapuyam. I'll put a link in the description later if you're interested, where she does that, right? So she vlogs our daily life in Melbourne. And if you're interested in that, feel free to go check it out. I'm sure she would appreciate the support. And she's very, very beautiful and pretty, so I'm sure you will enjoy the videos as well. You might get to see some of the cats, maybe. I'm not sure what videos are on there these days, but yeah. So, anyways, these these are just things to think about. And if you've stuck to this long in the video, thank you so much. It's very impressive. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you're getting something good out of this, whether it's just listening to me talk, whether it's some of the little nuggets of wisdom that I've learned from life. If it helps you, that would be amazing. And I hope something I hope you get something out of this. Anyways, I've probably talked for too long. I do need to do other things as well because it's Friday. So happy Friday again. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope you take care of yourself and your loved ones. And I'll see you in the next one.